Hey guys, it's Baileywiki, and man, I'm excited about this announcement. Okay, before I announce what's going on, I'm just going to show you something really quick. Did you know that Mass Edit has this whole presets window? If you click over here, if you have Mass Edit, even the free one, and if you have any creators like us that have external compendiums that you've installed, check this out. So here's all the content prefabs. I've got 4,000 prefabs in my library, right? Here's the stuff that just came out this week, right? So we have this mimic spawner, right, that spawns these mimics that you can put around your world. But if I search here for something like torch, I also have all of these different torches, all of the torches in across our entire set. Just drag them out, deploy them. Here's a campsite, right? Just like a drop-in campsite with torches all around it. It's interactive, all that good stuff. So this is part of the announcement today, but the first big announcement is Baileywiki just acquired Mass Edit. So Mass Edit as a module, which if you follow my channel, I say it's the most important module that came out in the last year. It's now part of the Baileywiki family. And so I'm going to give you guys some announcements that are going to be important for you today that, if you're a Patreon of mine, or if you're not, or if you're a Patreon of ADIFs and Mass Edit specifically, or you're not, you're going to want to pay attention to. But that's kind of the big news, right? So the first thing is the Mass Edit module is now free completely. So if you've installed Mass Edit before, I've got a Patreon version of it here. The Patreon version unlocks the ability to do randomization and I think other things, but that was the big one. And so that's now free. So now when you go to install this from the Foundry directory, just look up Mass Edit. You'll see it's called Baileywiki Mass Edit. As of this recording, we haven't pushed it yet because we didn't want to let out the surprise. But it's called Baileywiki Mass Edit. It's the same module you used to using before, but now you have all the features for free. What I mean by that, like it has a macro generator. If you didn't know that, Mass Edit can generate really interesting and smart macros. This macro from Nuts Bolts was used by Mass Edit. And if I click it, you can see those roofs of those houses change color. This is a randomization function that you can now create these macros yourself with the free Mass Edit. So for everyone out there, go get it. It's all free now. We're going to do a lot of development on Mass Edit, I'm sure, into the future. And at the end of this video, I'll explain kind of why we did this and maybe a little bit of the background on how we acquired this. But anyway, check it out. And speaking of development, ADIF is going to continue to be the developer of Mass Edit. ADIF and I have been talking, and we have lots of plans for where this can go and what it can do. And certainly part of the announcement today is going to show you some new functionality there. But thanks to ADIF for creating a great module and continuing to develop it, and to see it unlock some new functionality for other GMs out there in the future. So the second announcement is if you are a Patreon of Baileywiki, we have now made Mass Edit the delivery mechanism for all of our prefabs. So what you're looking at here is probably new to some of you. We've been developing it with ADIF over the last couple of weeks, but it used to be that to get to a Baileywiki prefab, you had to search through all of the Baileywiki compendiums, right? And there's all those prefab actor compendiums. You kind of had to know which one had like nature stuff in it, that kind of thing. Now they're all in the Mass Edit interface, and it's super snappy and super fast. And you just start typing, tower, and you get all of these towers and other things ready to drop in, right? This one is levels enabled, so it's a multi-level tower. So some things that you should know, you can actually now just double click these things, right? So if I go to maybe one of these towers down here, I'll double click this one, and Mass Edit will then show you a preview of the entire prefab. Once you get it in the spot that you like, just drop it in. And as usual, it still works with token attacher. It does not replace token attacher. It just replaces compendiums as the actor compendiums as a means of distributing these. It does actually use compendiums still. It uses journal compendiums, but you don't ever have to interact with them. You interact with them through the mass edit interface. So like the fireplace that I showed you in my last tutorial on Monk's Active Tiles, just search for fireplace, drag it out, and you've got a rotating fireplace that's matte enabled and does a bunch of fancy things. I'll link to that tutorial here. By the way, if you do use that preview function, so you double click to activate and then you center mouse click to cancel out of it. Like it's got all the sound and lights and everything else with the prefab. Pretty great, right? Another major benefit of putting everything through this system is now it's completely system agnostic. So it used to be that these compendiums worked by default for D&D 5e, and then you had to do an import function for other systems. Now it just all works. It doesn't matter what system you're on, Pathfinder 2e, anything else. Just look for what you want and drop it in, and it's completely system agnostic. Also, if there's any prefab that's got some complexity to it, because these are journal entries, we can now actually embed documentation with the prefab. So if you right-click these and you say Open Journal, that'll actually open the journal entry that has all the meta information on this. If we've added any documentation, you'll be able to see it here. And it's easy to add documentation. You just create a new page, and then you can start writing, the help information right here. So you'll see us start to add more documentation and things to like particularly complicated prefabs that do a lot of stuff here going forward. So the last thing I will talk about as far as new news, if you are a follower of Ripper, a Patreon of Rippers, and you have this in early access, this will be free eventually, but it's the Spotlight Omni Search. You press Shift Space to activate it, and watch this. Look for campsite. It'll look for anything in your entire world, actors, scenes, journal entries that match campsite. Well, these down here with the little actor icon that say token up at the top, those are the prefab library. So it's another way to get to all of the prefabs, right? So if we pick this one, we can see its preview, drop it in, Shift Space deactivates, and now we've just added a campsite to our map without any issues, right? It's surrounded by torches. It's a nice, cozy campsite. It's all interactable. Pretty cool, right? So that's OmniSearch from Ripper. It is early access, but it does already work with the new prefab and token attacher support for Mass Edit. Now, one thing I'll show you, I'm going to give you guys a whole tutorial on how to use Mass Edit now as an interface for prefabs, but let's just move one of these into our local space to work with it, right? So we'll use this mimic spawner. We're going to say export to compendium. As long as your compendium is set to Mass Edit presets main, that'll be your main work area. You can also change that to something else if you want that to be your main work area. But I'm going to go ahead and export it to that compendium, click export. I'm going to keep the IDs the same in case Baileywiki or other content creators ever create updated versions. It'll automatically write over that. Of course, you want to make a different version if you plan on making something that's forked or unique. If you right-click it and you click Edit, you have all these really cool functions. So you can, edit like which fields actually get created or specified when you spawn it. You can delete fields that you don't want to be specified. So you can make really, kind of laser targeted settings. And then you can assign tokens. If there's already a token or an entity, you can assign it. But out of these advanced options now, you can actually drag multiple things and attach them to the spawned entity, which will give you guys some ideas on how you can use that here in the future. You can also you can specify fields that you're going to prompt to modify when you drop it. So if you want to change the artwork to a different goblin every time you drop it, for example, you can do that. Or if you want to specify any other attributes that are on this list, you just select the attributes and you press select, and those become fields that it'll prompt you with when you place it. Tons of cool stuff you can do there, especially with smart things like traps and stuff like that. You can also do randomization, and then there's some really advanced stuff with scripts. And you'll probably notice too, all of the prefabs, because it's based on token attacher, which is token based, you're going to find them all in the token tab of your placeables. Of course, you can also find them all here, but that's going to get really messy. So go to your token tab and you'll see any external compendiums, assuming that you have enabled that here at the top row. I mean, look how fast that is. Now, this is a very large, as you can see, prefab, the galleon, but you just grab it, put it down on your scene, it all spawns, and you are ready to have a shipwreck in the middle of your ruins. Cool, right? Okay, so why did we do this? Why did Baileywiki acquire Massedit? Well, one, I really want to get Baileywiki and our properties to have some of the modules that I think really drive innovation in in the Foundry ecosystem. So it was important for me to do that, and where you'll see us do some other things with modules in the future, and you'll also see us really kind of looking at other modules in the community that we think should have sort of permanent support, but we think that the community should kind of permanently have them for free, or we'll acquire modules for other kinds of reasons. But that was part of it. Second one, I really love the work that ADIF does, and I really wanted to continue to work with ADIF to develop Massedit forward. So really looking for you, the community, to tell us what kinds of things you guys are interested in, and what kinds of features you think you'd like to see from Massedit in the future. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you enjoy working with the new now free Massedit. If you're a Patreon of mine, I hope you just absolutely love the new system for prefabs. It's just all in one place, typable, instant, so fantastic. And if you are supporting Ripper and you're using the new Spotlight Omni Search, it's never been anything more convenient to find everything in your world. So with that, thanks ADIF for working with us on this. Really excited to have you aboard and doing cool stuff. And anyone else, if you have ideas or comments, let us know in the comment section. And in the meantime, I hope you guys have fun with all of your planning sessions, with all of your games, and I hope you have fun making your maps.